everybody. Welcome back to Chase the Unknown. This week we have Karissa Hagemeister with us today. She is actually an author. She has her own fashion line, and she is the creator and founder of the magazine Beautiful and Dauntless. So welcome, Karissa. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Well, we just wanted to ask you a couple of questions real quick. So we want to know, how did you get started in the entertainment industry?
That's a big question. I actually never really wanted to be in the entertainment industry. I was a very shy person, very introverted. But I had some friends that were in it, and they just kind of encouraged me to, try modeling, try acting. And I liked modeling like off the start because you didn't have to talk very much. And then I went through AMTC, and I got kind of used to getting into acting. And I was like, this is actually kind of fun. And so from there, I just kept following my dream and trying to get involved where I could to continue. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like you had a really good support system for going in this direction. Oh, wow. That's really cool. A lot of, I know I've met a lot of people, from AMTC and others who didn't have a good support system. And so that's why it's very nice to hear that there are people who do have a good support system as well.
Yeah.
So you do modeling and you have a fashion line, right? So how did that come about?
That fashion is something that I've been interested in since I was I think I was 12 or 13. I started with ideas in my head of what I wanted my Easter dress to look like. And I went to the store, and obviously that wasn't there. So I just started drawing stuff when I was younger. And then at 14, I taught myself how to sew. And I was like, I'm actually really good at this and I enjoy it. So, from there I've been doing fashion design and enjoying it. And so that's kind of how that began.
Yeah. So now you have it, your own website and everything for it. And then, so do your clothes get featured in your magazine a lot?
Every once in a while. I had to put my clothing on hold for a little bit because I was doing some transitioning. So I completely redid my website, and now I'm kind of adding things back into it. So it's not been in there for a while, but now it's coming back to life again.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. And you did write a book too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So tell us about that and how you got that published and what's it about and all this stuff. I know you wrote one, but I actually don't remember the title of it.
Yeah.
I know I Googled all of it, but I can't remember the title of it for the life of me.
The book is called Who Am I? And I've always enjoyed writing. So it's part of the reason why I have a magazine and that kind of thing. But I knew that I would publish a book eventually. I didn't know really what it would be like. And then I went through some very difficult times in life where, I struggled with my identity, and I was very depressed. I got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore because I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I just felt like nothing. I don't know if you've ever been there. I know a lot of people, they find that point at some point in life most of the time. I lost myself and I didn't know how to find it. And during that time, I had a good encounter with God, and He helped me see who I am in Him, and that, it's not based on other people, and it's not based on achievements and success and this and that my identity is in Him. So that book is about finding your identity in Him. And if you can get into having a secret time with God, that's the perfect point for Him to really just pick you up and put you on the right place where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean, I know I can relate to that on a level that I probably wish I couldn't. I know I've been at that spot, and it was one of those, it took me forever to figure out. And I'm actually still having to figure out how to get out of it because it's something that's very, very difficult to do.
You mentioned that, there are a lot of people out there, I think, that are really struggling with finding their purpose and just kind of in a spot where they've, become depressed. They just don't know what they want to, in a way, give their life to, and when you don't have that thing that that you automatically know, okay, I'm passionate about this. This is something I want to give my life to. That's very easy to fall into that depressive like state.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the things, you mentioned a few, but what are some of the things you think that helped you kind of just find your purpose in general?
When I was going through that time,
Mm-hmm.
I started waking up very early in the morning, even though I'm not a morning person. And I would wake up before anybody in the house was up, and I would just get on my knees and I would literally just cry. I'd cry to God because, I was hurting and I was depressed and I didn't know where to go. So as I poured my heart out to him, he would bring scriptures to my mind. And so I'd open the Bible and I'd read them. And I started out doing that maybe, 15 minutes a day, and it went to 3 hours in the morning. And I did that for about a month. And just having like such a deep, intimate time with him was really like the key to the breakthrough, because, we can go and look all kinds of places and try to find purpose in this or that. Yeah. But the truth is that God is the one that created us, and he is the one, it says it in his word, that he gave us each a purpose for this life. Mm-hmm. And if if we find something that we enjoy or whatever, it may not be the purpose, and it may not be something that really fulfills us in this life, or it may not fulfill us for a very long time. But when we can have that time with him and really like hear his voice and allow him to speak to us and to calm us and to open our eyes to like what we really are to him, then, that's when we'll actually get to see like what he's made us for. He'll awaken those passions that he's put inside of you, and he'll begin to draw like pieces together. Like I feel like we're all little puzzles, and we have pieces all over the place. And as we spend time with God, he begins to mold those pieces together. And then we begin to see the bigger picture of the puzzle that we are. Yeah.
So now that you've come out, you've come through all that, you've come through a battle with depression, you've come through a real just kind of identity journey. What would you say, what role does passion play in your life right now? And why do you think that it's so important for people to find that thing that they're passionate about, that they can in a way give their life to?
So passion for me has been like a major key, because I don't wake up every morning like I used to. When I first was getting into things, I woke up and I was like super excited and ready to go. But, as you go through years and years and you wake up and things get hard, like after you figure out your purpose, it's not like an easy, smooth road. You still have to like go over bumps and discover things. So, sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, I have to go do this again,
Exactly.
As you're building along. But it's what the passion that you have behind the things that you're doing. Like if I was just doing something, I don't know, like if I was selling houses or whatever, I'm not passionate about that. Like houses are cool and everything, but it's not what I'm passionate about. And I wouldn't be very good at it either, because I'm just not interested in doing that. Yeah. So it's the passion behind what you really really enjoy and really love doing is what's going to help you excel at that thing. And it's going to help you enjoy and love doing it even more, and help you get out of bed in the morning and all that kind of stuff for when times do get hard.
Exactly. I think that's so valuable what you just said, in the terms of, I feel like so many people expect that, when I find my purpose, when I find my passion, it's going to be like a light bulb just goes off, and I'm going to just all of a sudden just have a fire for that. And I'm going to just want to wake up every morning. They're going to have a feeling of, I can't wait to get up every morning and do this. And it might be that way for some people. I definitely know of some people, especially in my life, that live like that, where they can't wait to get up every morning and push and start that again, and they're having trouble falling asleep at night because they're just so passionate, But like you said, it's not always. I think that's a huge tip for people, is that just because you don't have that, just because you're not laying in bed at night, you can't fall asleep, or just because you are still in a way struggling to get out of bed in the morning, I think that like a lot of things in life, while passion and purpose is I think vitally important to find and have in your life, it's not a one-all fix-all thing. No. maybe you have been going through a spout with depression. That's not, yes, it's going to help, but that's not a end all fix all. You're not going to wake up. Like I said, you're not going to probably wake up every morning and be, oh yeah, I can't wait to do this. It's something that I think with like a lot of things in life, you have to work and you have to, you really have to work on and push on, it's something you have to fight for, and I think the fact that you do have to fight for it, makes it so much more valuable. And I think comes off in a way even more genuine because you are having to fight for it.
Yeah. And you always enjoy and you cherish something more when you've put like work into it and you have fought for it. That's what I've always heard. And that's what I've always done for the things that I've really pushed after, and it means so much more to you when you're able to do that.
Exactly. Have you found in your life that you've had to really fight for the things that you're passionate about and the things that you've kind of found have given you purpose in your life now?
Yes, I have. I have had to fight because I'll share just a little bit about the magazine.
Go for it, definitely.
Beautiful and Dauntless magazine it's a two-sided magazine. So the first half is geared towards women, and it's to encourage them to feel beautiful and to accept themselves as who they are, not to try and be like celebrities or like somebody else, to enjoy and to love the person that God made them to be. And then the other side is Dauntless, and it's for men. And my husband, he does that. But, that's awesome. To help encourage men to be men and to walk and do men things.
Men things.
Take care of that. But that's not a popular concept, because if you look at all the other magazines and all the things on TV, like they're always trying to train your brain to think that you have to change this about yourself and you have to change that. And so it's like, I'm always fighting against that, because I know that that's not right. Like God made us who we're made to be. He didn't make us something and then he's like, okay, now you got to become something else, Exactly. So that's like what I've been fighting for. And it has been a big struggle because, there's a lot of people that do go along with that. And they do believe that, that they're beautiful and they want to spread that word as well. But then a lot of other people, they've been so ingrained in they need to change this about themselves and that about themselves that it's really hard for them to accept that they are beautiful just as they are, you know?
Wow, that's incredible. I think that hits another point right there that you just mentioned, is that I feel like it kind of culture has almost been telling us a kind of a narrative of, like you said, you have to change this about yourself. You have to have flawless skin. You have to have this. You have to have that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the magazine? How did that get started?
Yeah, so that got started like 3.5 years ago, I think it is now. Wow. And it started I called it Beautiful from the beginning because I was a single woman and it was just for women. And I really wanted to encourage them because of the struggle that I had shared before, all the things that I went through, finding my purpose, finding my worth in God. I realized that a lot of women, they struggle with that as well. And they don't know who they are. They don't know that they have worth. They don't know that they're beautiful. So I wanted to just bring some life to people. And so I started the magazine, and just with that desire in mind. And once I started, after a few months, I had guy friends come to me that were like, can you do something for men too?
Oh, cool.
Like, well, I'm not a man, but I could try. I don't really know what guys struggle with because I've never been there. But so then I made it into Beautiful and Dauntless, and I tried to get some guys on board, and I had a few here and there that would do things. And then God introduced me to the guy that's my husband now, and he kind of took that role on. So it took that pressure off of me, which was nice.
You're my dude. Now I have a dude to ask all my questions to,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to wonder about any of the dude stuff anymore. I got it on lock.
Yes.
That's incredible. Goodness. Have you seen a lot of impact to that magazine? Have you seen a lot of have you received a lot of people coming to you and saying, hey, I read your magazine, it's really helped me. It's really I was struggling with this, and this helped me in a specific point in my life that I needed help. I needed a hand up when no one else I didn't have anyone else to give me that hand up to tell me that I was beautiful.
Yeah. I've had a lot of feedback, just people send messages through Facebook
That's
or on the website or whatever. And it's really encouraging to see that, people are actually reading it and they are actually getting something from it. Because sometimes, when you're writing for such a big audience, you're like, are people actually reading this? Or are they just like flipping through and, it's not really doing anything. But it's great to hear when it's actually like made an impact on somebody's life and it's actually helped them to view themselves in a different way, or it's helped them get through a hard point or through something that they're struggling. And it's really cool too. Like, I love it when they reach out to me individually, because then I can speak more into their life and, I can give them some verses or offer them some encouragement or something to what they're actually dealing with. And I love that. Like, just getting to have the one-on-one with people is really cool.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. It's very fascinating. It's very good because, especially as a girl, I grew up, very hard on myself with who I was and what I looked like because, just teenage years, you just go through that. And it's nice to see that there are people out there who do care about you. Yeah. And you may have to go find it, but there are people out there who do care about you and that you don't have to change anything about you, because there's, like I said, I know a lot of people who didn't have support systems to pursue their passions or their dreams. Right. Yeah. And so the fact that there is still that support system that says, you don't have to change anything about you. You can be an engineer if you want to be an engineer. You can be a model if you want to be a model. Size doesn't matter. Height doesn't matter. It's just wonderful to have a nice positive impact.
It is.
Exactly.
I think the world needs more of that,
Trinity touched a little bit about it on a few minutes ago, but tell us a little bit more about the book. How did you get inspired to write the book?
So during the time when I was finding myself and having that quiet time with God, as I explained, he had started piecing like parts of my life together and showing me the purpose behind like hurtful things that had happened, like my parents getting divorced when I was a little kid, and just like hurtful relationships and different things, and showing me how all of that had happened not to cause me pain, but to allow beauty and testimony to come from the pain.
That's so
and
good.
As he was doing that, I could feel that he had placed this message inside of me to share for other people that have experienced similar things and to put it into a book form. So I started typing it up, and it took me maybe 6 months to get it down into story form or whatever.
Yeah.
And I actually sat on it for a few years because I didn't know what to do with it. I wanted it to be published as a book, but I'd never done that before, so I wasn't sure what to do.
Exactly.
And then a few years later, I actually had like some random publishing company. It was a Christian one that I don't even remember how I found them or how they found me, but I sent my book into them, and they were like, yeah, we want to go ahead and publish you. So I went through the process and I had it published, and I was like, wow, published author.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's all like according to God's timing, he'll give us things to do and to work on, and he'll give us that season to do it. And then, sometimes we may be like, okay, well, what was the point of that? What do I do now? And then he'll let us know, when it's time to go ahead and move into it. So
exactly.
It's really cool just letting him do his thing.
We only have a limited time with you, just to honor your time and honor the time of our guests listening as well. But since we have a limited time, I'm going to go ahead, since we've heard about the book now a little bit, I want to hear a little bit more about your experiences as a model. Tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get started in that?
That got started when I was in 9th grade. I had a modeling agency come to our school for like health class or something. And I had never thought about it before, but they invited me to go try out. And I was like, oh, cool. And I went, and they were like, oh, we want you. And my mom was like, no, you're not getting involved in that.
Yeah.
And I was so like heartbroken, even though I had just, discovered what modeling was. And so that like crashed my dreams as a 9th grader. And then after I went through school and I went through college, I got connected with some other friends that were doing like modeling and acting, and they encouraged me. And so I got involved with AMTC.
Okay,
and
awesome.
After I went through AMTC, then I just started looking for different modeling opportunities like fashion shows and stuff through Florida and Georgia, because I'm in Florida. And I just got involved with some different agencies and got to do different shows. And
That's
to
awesome.
me, it was just like a really fun thing to do. You know, I got to meet a lot of people. I got to wear all these different clothes, and people did my makeup and hair all fun and crazy. So I felt like a Barbie doll just playing dress up all the time. But it was a great opportunity for me to see kind of like what that world is like, you know, seeing how harsh that they can be on models and how harsh that it is for like people to be in that. A lot of times people think it's like all fun and games, and these people are so famous and cool because they get to be in magazines and they get to do all this stuff, but it's actually not a great atmosphere for people to be a part of. So I enjoyed it because I didn't like dive into the crazy end of it. But I know that it can get very not good for people that get involved in it.
I think it's just really important, at least from the stories I've heard from some of the friends that I've had in the past and some of the friends I have now that have had whether they're in that world or they've kind of dipped their feet in that world in the past. I know that I've heard stories from them about, you know, about that there is a harsh side of that industry that a lot of people don't know about, you know, with just, and I think that really just ties back into what we were just talking about just a minute ago with the magazine, when we have this this cultural message saying, you know, you need to be skinnier, you need to be tan, you need to be this, you need to be that. And so that's just very interesting that I don't think a lot of people know that really exists unless they know someone personally that has been kind of involved in that world. Not to go too far into this because we only have so much time, but have you noticed any have you been in any situations where you found that in that area you found your morals challenged in that, and you've had to kind of stand up and say, no, this is what I believe in, I'm not okay with this, or anything, or a situation like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is something that happens very quickly whenever you decide that you're going to be in the modeling world, because there are like a lot of girls that go into modeling, they're willing to compromise it all because they want to get famous and they want to be successful. So there are photographers and stuff that know that, and it's actually could be very scary because you don't really know like what those photographers are thinking. I know that there's a lot of inappropriate things that happen through that. So I did have several photographers and stuff that have reached out to me, and they're like, hey, do you want to do nude shoots or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't participate in that, you know? And then there will be some that they'll try to pressure you and be like, well, if you don't do this, you're not going to make it big time. And that's completely false. Like you don't have to compromise. You don't have to get nude. You don't have to do anything that you're uncomfortable with in the modeling world. You know, there's plenty of bigger opportunities where you can have your clothes on and, you know, you can still make money and model that way. So please, like, to any girls or whatever that are watching or listening to this, like, do not compromise. It's not worth it. You're sacrificing your morals and you're sacrificing your respect and everything. So
that's so good what you just mentioned right there. As we're kind of wrapping up here, would you have any other advice for anyone who would be listening, whether they're struggling with their depression, or they're struggling with their self-worth, or we were talking about a minute ago how they're just kind of in a place where they just feel stuck in a way, you know?
Sure. So for the first group, for those that are, you know, trying to find their purpose or depressed or they feel stuck, the biggest thing for you to do, and like you may not want to do it because at that point you really don't feel like you want to do this, but get into the Word of God, speak His scriptures out loud, pray, spend a lot of time with God, because that is really what's going to help you break out of that, going to help you get out of that pit and move into a better place of life. Like that's the only thing that I have ever seen that worked for me and for other people. So that's what you got to do. And then for those that are, you know, that are pursuing modeling or acting, and you are hitting, you know, those people that are trying to force you to do things you shouldn't, just, cut off communication with those people. They're not worth your time. They're not worth anything. The money isn't worth it. The fame or whatever that they might be saying isn't worth it. There are tons of other companies out there that are Christian focused, that are godly, that aren't going to make you, mess with your morals or whatever. So find Google those and get in contact with those people, and just find better groups of community to become involved with in those, because there are different groups that you can.
So do you have any like upcoming projects or any passion projects that we could maybe kind of hear about that our audience can be looking for in the future?
Well, I was working on something. I'm not sure if it's going to happen right now because of all the Corona stuff going on. But something that I have been working on for a little bit is I was going to be doing this Florida Fashion Week.
Oh, cool.
So what I was connecting with different fashion weeks here in Florida, like Orlando and Miami and different ones, and trying to do like a month-long, snippets of fashion weeks in these different places.
Wow.
So that was like something fashion related that I've been working on, but it might have to be postponed until next year.
So that would have been your own clothing line?
It would have been my clothing line, but also with a bunch of other fashion designers like in the South region.
Right. Oh, that's cool. So then your line would have been on Fashion Week. Oh, that's cool.
With that being said, is there where can we find you?
So the magazine is at www.beautiful.dauntless.com. And my book can be found on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and just type in "Who am I?" and put Karissa, and it should pop up. I'm the only Karissa that's written that. And then if you guys want to find me on Facebook, it's Karissa Hagemeister, or Instagram is Karissa LUV Hagemeister. I know it's kind of hard to spell that, but
hey, they'll find you.
Right.
They'll find you.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Karissa, for coming on with us. We really appreciate it. And we really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed talking with you both too.
Well, with all that being said, guys, we will be back at you this Wednesday with our both audio and video version on our YouTube page at Right Time Productions. We're going to have special guest Emily Fink. She talks a little bit about her journey with music over the years. So until this Wednesday, make sure you join us then, and we'll catch you next time. Make sure to chase your dreams.